Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about, as always, some important things. And let's begin by talking about parents and kids. Parents and kids. That's the basis of civilization, you know. But the question is, why aren't things working out so well? It should be the easiest thing to be a parent. All you need is a little bit of patience and a little bit of wisdom, common sense, wisdom, understanding. That's all you need. Okay? Because children could grow with delicate guidance, um, tutoring, limits. Okay? They could grow to be what the good Lord intended them to be. It's not necessary to rant and rave and scream and threaten, see, and reject and punish and manipulate, see, and frighten and pressure and tease. Those things are not necessary. But that's what most parents do. From the time the child is a little babe, they start pressuring it, teasing it, being cruel, okay? Or like terrorists, you know, cruel one minute and then kind the next. You know, like the good guy, bad guy routine, which is totally confusing and upsetting to the child. And so the child grows up terrified. Yeah, terrified. A lot of kids grow up completely terrified by what has been done to them. And they have baggage and hang-ups, all kinds of issues, which are totally unnecessary. But you see, what happens is that there is in this world a battle between good and evil. Okay? And let's say the battle between light and dark. You know, we'll put it in Star Wars kind of terminology. The dark side of the Force and the light side or bright side of the Force. There's a battle between, you know, it says in the Bible, Paul says, we wrestle not with flesh and bones, but with principalities and powers. See? So behind it all, behind what you see in front, the people that you see around you and the things that you see, there's a hidden dimension of good and evil. Now, good is what we fell from as a human race. Adam was close to God, close to good, close to the bright side. And all he had to do was very simply to obey. See, God didn't make a lot of rules. See, he didn't make a lot of rules. He just said, you know, enjoy yourselves, but just one thing, don't eat of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Well, it was a little test for Adam. A little test, and Adam failed. The serpent was there. And the serpent found Adam's weakness through Eve. So Adam fell from the wordless word in his heart to the spoken word. He fell from obedience to disobedience. He fell from eternal life to death. Okay? And his body, and he changed. His body, he changed completely. Adam could have lived forever, close to God, in paradise, perpetually renewed, somehow by the good Lord every day. But when he fell, he was cut off. He was cut off from true life, the life from God, true life. And he fell and began to die. He lost true life, and he began to die. Now, it took him a long time to die, physically, but it had already begun or taken place spiritually, because he was cut off from God by his own choice. See, he was ambitious. and he didn't do what God asked him to do, so he messed up, and he fell. Well, it says in the Bible, it says in the New Testament that is it John where it says that the light from God, light came into the world. Christ came into the world, the light of the world. Okay, and Christ has also said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." The light and the life. Christ came to restore people, not everyone, but to restore some people, the ones who recognized him, the ones who loved him. See, the ones who loved him and where he was coming from. He came to restore them to life. Okay? He brought life and light. He's the light of the world. The light. Didn't John say Christ was a light shining in the darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not? Okay? So some people just, they don't understand. They don't want to understand. They'll never understand. Okay? In fact, a lot of people hate the light. They hate it. They hate the truth. See, to have our ambitious dreams and schemes and to imagine ourselves, see, we want to play God. See, people want to play God. A lot of people want to play God. That's what we are as fallen humans. But then some of us realize that by playing, see, we don't feel comfortable doing that. We don't feel right about it. And so we yearn to find the Father to whom we might submit. You know, there's a beautiful scene. There was a movie a long time ago. It was called Robin Hood. And once again, you need to see the original one with Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland. It's a very good movie. Even today, even though it was made a long time ago, it holds up really well. Okay? So you need to see that one. I'm not knocking any newer versions that came along. I'm sure some of them were, okay. But the original version had a little something special to it. Okay, so you need to see it. So the story was that, see, while the good king was away, I don't remember the king's name, but the good king was away, and while he was away, the bad guys took over. Okay, well, that's the way it is in this world, isn't it? What is the expression? When good people fail to act, and then evil takes over. What's the expression? You know what I mean. When good people fail to do what is right, then evil flourishes. Something like that. I can't think of the expression, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Well, that's the way it is in this world. So good people, so fathers fail. See, the average father fails his family. He's weak. See, he's woman-centered. He's not subject to God. He's subject to the woman. See, he came from woman. See, originally, Adam was made by God. And then the woman came from Adam. Remember? But now it's reversed. Now, man comes from woman, to whom he is subject, to whom we are born subject. See? And the woman rules the home. Some women don't want to rule the home. They wish their husband, they wish they had a strong husband, a good husband, a noble husband. See? But instead he's weak. He's a womanizer. He's a people pleaser. He makes her into his God. He saddles her with the responsibility, see, which is an injustice. And he turns over everything to her, all the child rearing and everything, taking the kids to the school and the doctor and teach and everything, education and church. It's all, puts it all in her hands as he's pathetically weak. Okay? Either that or he's a bully and a tyrant. If he's a bully and a tyrant, then he has something of the bad nature of his parents in him. See? But never mind that for the moment. The point is he's a bully and a tyrant, so everybody hates him. So he's still wrong. Very, very wrong. His wife hates him. So the man is either a bully, or a tyrant, or he's weak. Okay? In both cases, he's wrong. Okay? And so she hates him. She resents him. She had hoped when she left home that she would find someone who could rescue her from her darkness, a knight in shining armor. And I'm going to get back to the Robin Hood movie in just a moment. I'm just laying some groundwork here. But instead, she encountered weak men and abusive men who took advantage of her. They didn't love her. They used her. See? Or they were just weak. See? Clawing and for her, trying to get something from her. So they definitely weren't God-centered. So eventually she got married, and then she found out that he was also weak. So she resented him for not having love, for his not having love, fatherly agape love that she needed. Okay. So that's the family. So you have a woman who resents her husband. See, so she's in charge, or she lets him be in charge. See, but if she's letting him be in charge, then she's still in charge. You see what I mean? That's the average home. Okay, so now into this matrix of the undercurrent of resentment. See, she resents him, he resents her. He's weak, she resents it. And he keeps wanting something from her, wanting her love, but the more love that she gets from him, the weaker he becomes. Now some men wake up eventually. They wake up. They see their family is suffering. They realize that they're missing the boat somehow. They realize that their wife and children need something special from them, the special fatherly quality, and they cry out to God, and he answers, and they begin to change. Okay? So they begin to fail less. Instead of failing all the time, they begin to fail less and less. Okay? And then until eventually he doesn't fail at all. See? Okay, so now we're talking about, we talked about good and evil, and we're talking about something respectable to which we could give our fealty. Okay, now let's get back to what I was saying. Now a lot of us, we come from homes with as something like, there's variations, but something like what I just described, okay? And then we go out in the world, and there are a lot of authorities out there, teachers, professors, doctors, dentists, pharmacists, bookkeepers, bosses at work, managers, and civil authorities and bureaucrats. And there's all kinds of authorities. Everywhere you look, there's authority. You ever noticed? Authorities everywhere. Okay? But where is the authority, the good authority that we could submit to wholeheartedly? Where is that? There isn't one. See? But we yearn for one. We yearn for someone that we could let our hair down and be ourselves. See? Someone that we... See, a lot of kids too, their father, they can't there's not good communication. Not only does he fail at being weak, see, being either a bully or weak, or both, see, and fail to provide guidance, see, things that he should be. Not only that, but he doesn't communicate. Something in him won't let him communicate. See, that might help you to forgive your father. See, that's very important. It says in the Bible, honor your father and mother. Okay? Which means that you respect the office of fatherhood and motherhood, and you respect the fact that your parents gave you life, which someone said very, very beautifully. They gave you life, okay? So you respect that aspect of it. You respect fatherhood and motherhood. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to like them. If your father's no good and you know, your mom is a nag, or if they're just contemptible, or they're rotten, whatever they are, so you don't have to like them. Don't have to like that. You don't have to pretend to like it. You don't even have to have anything to do with them. If you're an adult, you have grown up. See, a lot. See, you don't have to have anything to do with them. Let me tell you about Robin Hood first, and hopefully I won't forget to come back to this important thing that I was just talking about. I just want to say that, remember I said that we yearn for someone that is something good, something noble, see, something pure, something honorable. Well, then that reminds me of the original Robin Hood. The good king was gone, the bad people like the sheriff of Nottingham, bad authorities, remember I said, which is what you see now all around us, bad authorities. They were in charge, but Robin Hood, he was a rebel. He would not submit to the bad authorities. See, he had contempt for them. See, he had a good heart, and he had contempt for the rotten authorities. And they saw that in him. Just like, remember Albert Einstein? Very nice man. When he was a kid, when he was a young man, a teenager and a young man, he sat at the back of the classroom and there was a teacher who hated him. There were several probably that hated him, but there was one in particular that hated Albert Einstein. Now, why would anybody hate Albert Einstein? You know why? Because Albert Einstein sat in the back of the room with a smile on his face, a little smirk on his face. You know, like Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. You know, what, me worry? A little smile on his face. And the teacher hated him because Albert Einstein had no respect for this teacher. He didn't respect the teacher. He didn't honor. He didn't worship the teacher and pretend to teach. He wasn't an apple polisher. See, he was just a nonchalant kid. Okay, so authorities hate that. How many decent kids? How many? When you were young, you remember you had some friends. They were good-natured and they had a lot of life and good and guts, and they spoke up sometimes to authorities. See, they thumbed their nose at it, and what happened to them? They got slapped down, beaten down, pushed down. See, that's the thanks they got for expressing themselves. Okay. Well, anyway, that was Albert Einstein. So Robin Hood was the same way. He had no respect for these rotten, terrible, disgusting authorities. But then the good king came back. The good king had been off fighting somewhere, and he came back. He heard that there was bad things going on in his country, so he came back incognito. He wore a disguise, just some, regular clothes and a cap and everything, so no one would recognize him, and he just wanted to go around and see what was happening and assess the situation. So he did. So he went around, but then eventually, one day, by happenstance, Robin Hood encountered the good king, and the good king knew that Robin Hood was a good man, and so the good king revealed who he was. I think he took his rotten old jacket off, and underneath was his royal attire. And when Robin saw the good king, he immediately got down on one knee before the king, and he said, "My lord and my sire." See, he acknowledged the good king and loved the good king. So Robin Hood wasn't rebelling against all authority. He was only rebelling against rotten authority. Okay? And when the good authority appeared, we respected it and loved it. Okay? Well, that's what a lot of us are. We're looking for the good authority. Well, yes, there are some nice people around. There are. But better than that, there's God, okay, and His Son. A good authority. Now, and so you need to find Him. You need to yearn for Him. See, yearn to find the Father you have never known. And when you do find him, why, then you'll have it made in the shade. You'll have found the good that you have always yearned for. Okay? And when you know that it exists, when you know that it exists beyond any doubt, you'll just know. See, God will make it so you'll know. You just wake up one day and then you just know that God is somehow there, and he somehow has touched your life. And so he has somehow touched your life. And so the good Lord will make sure that you somehow know that. So now let's get back to what I was saying. A lot of parents will lay a big, see, a lot of parents are some are disturbed. See, and even the best of parents, there's a lot of, they've been corrupted, totally corrupted by culture. They've been corrupted by education, music, and by their parents. See, their parents did to them what they turn around and do to you. They don't know anything else. That's all they know. See, that's all they know. So all they do to you what was done to them. So there's, and they lay a trip upon you, the same trip that was laid upon them. See? So that's all they know. So you know, sometimes it can happen that when you grow up and you become a man or a woman, and then after you begin to search and then find God, and you have a change of heart, and you come over to the bright side, well, then you might be able to go back to your parents, see, and talk to them, and you might be able to help them, okay? But maybe you can't. They're too far gone. Okay? You can't help them. So then all you can do, okay, is you tried. That's all you can do. But here's the thing that I want to get to, and that is, it says in the Bible, Christ said that a man shall leave his father and mother and find a wife and cleave to the wife, and the two shall become one flesh. See, they will cleave together. Focus on the Family, or one of those. Family Life Today, or one of those. You know, they do have some good information on those programs, and they had someone on there, and he was talking about leaving and cleaving. Leaving and cleaving. Okay? There comes a time when a man has to leave home. See, if you stay home, then you remain entangled, enmeshed in the failings, see, and the corruption of the home that you came from. See, it's hard to express. See, you have to leave home at a certain point. And then chances are, or the woman, you know, you get married, then you leave home, and you start a new family. See, if your family is nutty, see, not all families are nutty, but just most of them. Okay, so if your family is nutty, then a lot of times you have to move away. You go somewhere else, start a new life, start your own little family, start a new life, afresh. See, separate from the nuttiness. That's why someone else said that sooner or later kids need a parentectomy. See, they need a parentectomy because your parents are too much. Too much. Mom is too much. Dad is too much. See, it's hard to deal with without becoming resentful. Now, as you grow older, it is good practice to be around your parents without being resentful. Okay, that is good practice. But you know, you don't want to practice forever. You want to stay home forever just to practice not being resentful, because it's just too much. You need to go off and start your own life. Okay. All right. So you see, then you as the man can make a fresh start, and perhaps you can be the good authority. Then you can be the good father, coming from the bright side, and being God-centered. See, then you'll be the good husband. You'll be a husband that your wife can just let her hair down and just be herself. See, and she'll discover with time that she doesn't have to play the temptation game, the Eve. She doesn't have to be Eve. Okay, and with wisdom, with understanding. Okay, then you guys can work out the old Adam and Eve thing. You guys can work it out together. Okay, work it out, and then you can be good parents, and you won't have to lay the trip on your children. See, you won't have to. The buck can stop with you, as the old expression goes. You won't have to lay the trip on your children that your parents laid on you. But see, most people, see, they never make that change from the dark side to the good side. They never make that change. They remain entangled in their culture, see, and their distractions and their entertainments and their problems and their issues and their worldly authorities, and they listen to one and do what he says, and their life deteriorates, and then they go to another one and do what he says, and their life deteriorates, and see, just go from worse to worse. See, and that's all that can happen until you come across to the good side. So that's why I've always, said my meditation is helpful, because it represents a commitment. It represents a commitment to wanting to know the truth, see, without resenting it, and a commitment to wanting to have God in your life. See? So a lot of people, they begin to meditate, and see, and some people do have some issues with this. It doesn't always, see, a lot of people think that when you start meditating, you're going to immediately see the heavens will open up and you'll see angels and hear music, and then you'll be walking on water, and but no, it's not that way. You'll be a regular person. But now you'll have something, see, now you have something extra with you. You'll have, see, if you're meditating properly, see, and you want to have God in your life, and you begin to have a little bit of light in your life. See, maybe a little bit at first, maybe a little bit. See, too much, you wouldn't be able to bear it. You wouldn't be able to bear a lot of light, because you wouldn't be able to bear what you see, to deal with what you see, to cope with what you see. So be content for a little bit. See, God gives you a little bit of light every day, so you can have a realization, a discovery, make a little change in your life, and slowly but surely you'll be upgraded. You'll notice that you're a little calmer. You're dealing with things a little better. You're still having issues, but you're dealing with them a little better. And you're beginning to have understanding. You're beginning to understand why you are the way you are, and why your parents were the way they were. So you begin to understand, see? And that understanding softens you, see? It modifies it makes it so you're not so upset anymore, see? So you're instead of being on a roller coaster of highs and lows, the road levels out, and you'll find that you have more time. You have more time to make more discoveries. You find that you're doing less. You're not rushing around like you were, and yet you're getting things done. See, everything will change for the better, like magic. See, like magic. Okay. So like I said, the meditation, even the fact that you're willing to sit down and want to have God in your life, and are willing to know the truth. See, that's something right there. See, that is something right there. So we've covered different topics today, but it all kind of comes together, and I hope there was something here that was that happened to be spot on, just what you needed to hear. Okay, and you'll find, see, you'll be surprised. Maybe this is something else that will be of interest to you. That some of the things I say to some people are very shocking. See, what I say to me is not shocking at all. It's just the truth. See, but some people it's like, oh my God. See. Okay. Well, okay. So I say some things that are very direct, Okay? I talk about the way things are in families and so on. But you may notice, see, you may notice that after you've listened to me, you feel better. See, you feel better. Okay? Well, that's good. All right. Well, I'm going to make an end to this recording now. I'm making some longer ones. Okay, so what I did is I used to, when I had the old software, the old movie maker, the old version, then and had an older computer, then I would make, like 2 or 3 minutes, that's all I could do, and then sometimes I would, combine them together. Then when I got the newer computer and newer software, then I made some longer videos, but then I thought, well, they're too long, so then I made short ones, a lot of short ones. But I do need to make some longer ones too sometimes. I need to make longer ones because that way I can develop some ideas where you can follow the thread of what I'm saying and see the development of it. So I'm lately I've been making a couple of longer. When I say longer, I mean like half an hour. Okay. Very well. My name is Roland.